Exclusive contract with Feilu Novel Network novel. Tomb robbing. I am searching for the dragon and the ritual officer, forced to marry by Yue Qiluo at your leg. Long, white, and thin, come and touch it. Mohist travels to the world of tomb raiding, lost in confusion with Yue Qiluo awakening dragon hunting officer. As long as you come into contact with antiques or creatures with mysterious functions, you can light up the guidebook and receive rich rewards. Light up the Dust Pearl Guidebook. Reward the Snake God's Eye, the Boundless Demon Eye, and the Unreal Space. Light up the Offering the King Guidebook. Reward the 3 major evil methods and techniques in southern Yunnan. Coincidentally, the Longling mysterious cave opened, and he, who was domineering, almost scared Xue Liang. The first time we met, he pulled my pants. Mohist. Listen to my sophistry, Ba, listen to my explanation. Hu Ba-yi said, being domineering in all directions, one can control the world with one hand. I dare to ask Yuan Liang, how many arches have you ever demolished? Mohist. What are you saying? I can't understand. Professor Sunday, Mo, it's not advisable to pack this antique in your own bag. It has to be handed over to the country. Mohist. No. Wang Kaixian de Jinya looked at Mo Ye's bulging backpack and said, Teacher Mo, at least we should hide it carefully. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001, Ghostly Night, Chaotic Burial Mound, Yue Qiluo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Where is this? Why is there a bloody smell? Mohist opened her eyes. Looking around, I realized that I seemed to be lying in a deserted tomb. And next to him lay a beautiful woman dressed in bright red silk and silk. Although the other party is facing away from them. But that enchanting figure is enough to make people daydream. However, the woman seems to have been injured and has fallen into a coma. Mohist shook her head and supported herself to get up. Thinking of flipping over that beauty and seeing who it really is. After all, being in this desolate tomb, one more person and one more strength. Why is he certain that the other person is not dead? Because breathing is even with a slight moan. However, just as he flipped the other person over, he saw a peerless face. It can be said that it is quite beautiful. Over 9 points. And to Mohist's shock, he knew this beautiful woman. Yue Qiluo in Yue Qi. The monster killer. This. What exactly happened here? Why is Yue Qiluo here? And why would I appear here? Mohist feels a bit of pain in her head. He carefully lifted his head, wanting to see clearly where he was. However, that bloody smell carried a sense of dryness and even made people feel the urge to rush. What's going on here? He slowly recalled. Today is a ghostly night. And the place where he came is the chaotic burial mound. There is a saying in the circle of Chinese sorcerers, 10 million ghosts walk at night, and ghosts and demons walk first. The Styx River outside Fengdu City blocks the army of the evil gods. In the night of the ghost, when the spirit miasma and decaying corpses touch the water of the Styx River, their souls immediately flee. Mohist is an ordinary young Taoist at the Huaxia Taoist Academy. Today is the graduation exam. The exam content is on a rare ghost night in 100 years, where one can bury the dead in chaos, transcend the dead, and obtain immeasurable merits. Result. How did you meet Yue Qiluo? Is it possible that the sequel of Yue Qi, The Monster Killer, has been made? But. Is this crew sick? On a ghostly night that is rare in a century, running to the mass grave to film. Just as Mohist was daydreaming. Suddenly, I felt like someone was holding me from behind. It turned out that Yue Qiluo was tightly holding him from behind. This moment frightened him into being clever. But then, He felt his muscles relax and weak all over his body. Only 6-inch nails, strong and domineering. It's like the blood all over my body is rushing down. He wants to struggle, but letting him struggle is impossible to break free from. Immediately after, a pair of slender white jade hands slowly swam over themselves, heading towards the 6-inch nail. Mohist instantly tightened her body. But the strength of those hands was as strong as an old tiger's pliers, tightly gripping him. No matter how hard Mohist struggled, he couldn't break free from the shackles of these hands. Immediately after, Mohist's mouth was sealed by a pair of delicate and soft lips. This time, Mohist has completely lost the strength to struggle. Then he felt his Taoist robe taken off. And the person behind him, sticking even tighter, Mohist wanted to shout loudly to his senior brothers and sisters, "Come and save lives." But there was no sound at all. In this eerie and terrifying tomb, this scene is truly terrifying. Are you entangled in a seductive ghost? Mohist felt that his consciousness was gradually blurring, and in a daze, he felt like he had been flipped over. Amidst confusion, he struggled to open his eyes, and what caught his eye was Yue Qiluo's peerless appearance. Just her gaze, with a hint of emptiness and confusion. Immediately after, Mohist became completely unconscious, unsure of how long it had been. He suddenly became clever and opened his eyes again. However, at this moment, his whole body had already been drained of strength by the 6-inch nail, with no resistance. His hands were tightly held on top of his head. Wave after wave of lingering power is constantly impacting oneself. Not even passive defense can be achieved. He could only be at the mercy of the other party, feeling like he was about to collapse. At this moment, with the impact of force, a mechanical sound appeared in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host, awakening the ancestral tradition of dragon hunting officials. In an instant, a memory of the inheritance of the dragon hunting officer flooded into Mohist's mind, like a sudden enlightenment. So, my ancestors were the dragon-seeking officials who specialized in searching for burial tombs for emperors. However, ordinary emperors are not qualified to let the dragon-seeking officer take action. There is only one emperor for eternity. Only then can one obtain the birth and guidance of the dragon-hunting officer. And the dragon-seeking officer, in his inheritance, vaguely reveals that it originated from ancient times. Ding! Congratulations to the host. The host has been detected and has a thin golden dragon bloodline. Is it activated? When you hear about the bloodline of the golden dragon, Mohist felt a bit confused in her mind. However, upon second thought, I could roughly guess that the thin bloodline within my body must be related to the inheritance of the dragon-seeking officer from my ancestors. Perhaps there is also an amazing secret hidden behind it. At this moment of thought, he didn't hesitate at all, being manipulated by Yue Qiluo while activating his bloodline. Activate. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully activating the golden dragon bloodline. Currently, the purity of the bloodline is 10%. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the golden dragon technique, dragon calling classic. The tinkling sound was heard by Mohist before she could fully understand it. Once again, I fell into a coma. He felt that his entire world was shaking wildly. 002, you need to obtain the dust pearl to revive Yue Qi. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Beyond the desolate tomb, the sun rises and the moon sets, and then the moon sets and the sun rises again and again. I don't know how long it has been. Mohist opened her eyes again. What caught the eye was still a desolate tomb, but the eerie smell of blood in the air disappeared. And Yue Qiluo lay limp and powerless beside her. This. Isn't it just a dream? Mohist suddenly rolled up. But I only feel back pain and soreness, my whole body is weak, and my muscles and bones are unbearable to death. At this moment, the golden dragon bloodline finally came in handy. Mo Qi only felt her whole body bursting with energy, and every cell was in celebration. In an instant, the fatigue on his body dissipated. Immediately after, countless pieces of information flooded into her mind. After digesting and organizing them for a while, Mohist stood still on the spot. Time travel. Through various information provided by the system, he has now confirmed that he has traveled. And it has traveled to the 1980s. However, at this moment, a pair of scissors rushed towards me like sharp blades. Mohist quickly dodges with the power of the golden dragon bloodline. Are you crazy, mother.in.law? The sound of metal colliding with bricks and stones echoed through the abandoned tomb. Yue Qiluo's scissors are misplaced. Following that, Yue Qiluo pinched the mantra and suddenly 3 paper figures with residual souls emerged. But because he gained inheritance and skills, Mohist dodged directly. I'm going to kill you. Why? Who made you? You pushed me back, okay. I'm still resisting. If it weren't for you grabbing my hands and making me unable to move. Shy to say it again. Can't you say it yet? Did I even turn against you? Mohist snatched away Yue Qiluo's scissors. Then he dodged and kicked out, directly trapping Yue Qiluo's neck. Yue Qiluo was left with only 2 beautiful legs kicking around. Mo Qi successfully used its long legs to lock its throat. Allow Yue Qiluo to wriggle there. Bastard. You let go of me. It's you. With your skills, how could I possibly use force against you? As soon as he thought about the daily events, Yue Qiluo's face instantly turned red. After another round of turmoil, Yue Qiluo finally calmed down after being completely subdued. She also remembered the cause and effect of the situation, and understood that it was her own impulsiveness. It's really her, she pushed Mohist back. You go. Yue Qiluo lowered her head, with a hint of crystal in her eyes. Okay. Mohist picked up her pants and got up before leaving. Watching the man who wanted him for the first time walk so decisively. Yue Qiluo's beautiful eyes added a lot of sadness. In fact, women are like this, saying no, how annoying. But for those who take away their own blood, they are always unforgettable and reluctant to part ways. Moreover, Mohist is still a graceful and handsome young man, born with a handsome and unrestrained demeanor, with a slender figure and light glass eyes. What's your name? Ink Quinoa. And you? Yue Qiluo. Okay, the journey in the martial arts world is long. Goodbye by chance. However, at this moment, a mechanical sound suddenly came to Mohist's mind. Host, concubine Yue Qiluo, reward, mysterious illustrated book. Mysterious encyclopedia. As long as the host comes into contact with antiques or creatures with mysterious functions, they can light up the encyclopedia and receive rich rewards. Upon hearing the mechanical sound coming from the system, Mohist's footsteps were one of them. This skill is really amazing, isn't it? Any antique or creature with mysterious functions, as long as you touch it, will receive a reward. Whether it's my own or not. Just touch it. Isn't that to say that one's own happiness is double happiness? If it's like going to the grave for a fight or something like that, you can sell the Hades for money, and you can also get a large amount of rewards. And he came to a standstill. But it made Yue Qiluo's eyes slightly brighten, didn't it? Sure enough, Mohist looked at Yue Qiluo and asked, this chaotic burial mound, the abandoned tomb environment is bad. Why don't you leave? I'm stuck here and can't get out. Yue Qiluo lowered her brow as she spoke. Don't say it. This little lowly, with such a melancholic appearance, is really pitiable. After all, taking someone else's blood is a confession, isn't it? Although modern law does not allow this. But a capable person, who is not 3 wives and 4 concubines. Even if it is put on the surface, there are still many. At this point, Mohist looked at Yue Qiluo and asked, so yesterday? Yesterday was a 1.century ghost day, and besides that, you broke in. Don't talk about this anymore. How can you get out of here by speaking realistically? Upon hearing Mohist's inquiry, Yue Qiluo shook her head and said, I can't leave. That thing is only in legend. What exactly is it? As long as that thing is in this world, I will take it for you. Mohist's words are not for nothing, he has a golden dragon bloodline on his body. In addition, with the added skills of bloodline, as long as there is something in this world, he may not be unable to do it. Moreover, the most important thing for him now is to win Yue Qiluo's heart. When he gains the skills of the guidebook, his abilities will only become stronger, and then he can do even more. It is said that it is the phoenix gull transformed by the Earth Mother. There is essence of fire in the bead, and it is a first-class treasure in the world. There are also records that say it was formed by the condensation of the phoenix's spiritual energy, and through this artifact for cultivation, one can transform into an immortal. With this item, I can go out. Phoenix gull. Isn't that just a speck of dust? 003, be me a concubine, I'll bring you the dust beads. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That is to say, you need to obtain the dust beads. Can we revive Yue Qiluo? The skills illuminated by the guidebook, as well as the ability to obtain the dust beads themselves. Because lighting up other picture books, what can be obtained is unclear to Mohist. But as the top treasure of the world of tomb raids. The dust pearl. Once lit up, the rewards one can receive must be extremely generous. At this point, he spoke up. Do you need to devour this phoenix gallbladder or not? No, I can use it to absorb the essence of the sun and the moon. With the answer, Mohist's heart was clear. He followed the timeline and now it's the early 1980s. That is, on the timeline of Jingjue Ancient City and Longling Mysterious Cave. However, Yunnan Insect Valley was in the late 1980s and should not have started yet. That is to say, he has a full chance to obtain the dust pearl and absorb it for Yue Qiluo. However, the trip to Yunnan Chonggu is not easy. I just crossed over and need to prepare more. The first thing to do is to strengthen your own abilities. It's best to get another fortune. Since you have the skill to light up items, it would be more appropriate to light up more things and go to the Xianwang tomb in Yunnan Insect Valley by yourself. Yue Qiluo, just borrow to absorb the power of heaven and earth, without affecting the use of the dust beads. So I can completely unite with Hu Bai and others. Use the advantages of Hu Bai and Snow Pear Yang to pave the way for themselves and achieve win-win cooperation. After all, everyone's goals are the same. Once I resurrect Yue Qiluo, having such a helper by my side would also be a great help. Yue Qiluo's abilities are known to him. Phoenix Gull. Also known as the Dust Pearl, right? Schwa. When Mohist said this, Yue Qiluo trembled all over her body. You actually know Phoenix Gallbladder. This item is not difficult to obtain, but it will take some time. I'll help you get it. We already have a married relationship, and I'll ask you, are you willing to be my mistress? What? Yue Qiluo was a bit confused. This person, don't you want to? Mohist approached Yue Qiluo step by step with a smile, and he decided to turn from defense to attack, shedding his former shame. As an old man, I was pushed back by a woman or a lowly, but it's still okay. Have you figured it out yet? I'm a demon now. If you take me as a concubine, can you bear it? That's nature. When I bring you the dust beads and help you reshape your physical body, you'll be by my side. Shichen Zhu, I will bring it to you sooner or later, but I can't just give it to you for no reason, can I? We have a good marriage, and with the reality of being married, we also need to have the name of husband and wife. You can rest assured, and I can also rest assured, can't you? As she spoke, Mohist's hand approached Yue Qiluo, determined to regain the position of the main leader. Since that's the case, I'll follow my husband. But I see my husband, step by step pressing, isn't he trying to shed his former shame? He, a snow of shame before, so what? Mohist smiled and asked. However, the next second, his hands were fiercely pressed against the wall by Yue Qiluo. Husband, I forgot to say that in this desolate tomb, it is my heaven and earth. Now it is time for the moon to darken and the wind to rise again. It was not just the scorching sun that shone brightly that made it difficult for my husband to shed his shame before. Husband, please rest assured that I will not let my husband suffer in vain. There is still a lot of gold and silver here for my husband to compensate for. You. Husband. What's wrong? Ah. Husband. You. This is my domain. Woo-woo. Husband, don't bully me anymore. Husband, I know I was wrong. Husband, you're going to ruin him. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have obtained the skill to light up the guidebook. Twisting and turning. Not long after, Mohist arrived at Panjiayuan. Yue Qiluo gave him a lot of gold and silver, and he exchanged a portion of it for tens of thousands of dollars in cash. These cash are enough for him to sustain himself for a period of time in this era. Moreover, he also opened an antique stall, shuttling in and out. After arriving in Kyoto, he quickly figured out the specific plot, and the exquisite ancient city had already passed. Now the Longling mysterious cave has not been opened. Because his antique stall is located next to Hubei and Wang Kaixuan. After several meals of lamb hotpot and a few bottles of liquor, his relationship with Hubei and Wang Kaixuan is already very strong. It has to be said. These two people are really not suitable for doing business. In this era, opening an antique stall, a profitable business, is nothing like losing money. These two people don't get involved in wealth. It's not like a quinoa tree, which has only been open for a few months. After using fake antiques continuously and sincerely slaughtering a few foreigners, the assets have doubled. As for the genuine product, that's not it. Where can there be genuine goods in Panjiayuan? Even if there are a few good things, they are all regarded as treasures in the hands of major shopkeepers. The money earned by Mohist is envious of Hubei and Wang Kaixuan. So when it comes to eating Mohist's lamb hotpot, you're not polite either. How poor can these two people be? Collecting an antique would require borrowing 200 yuan from Mohist. However, it must be said that Hubei and Wang Kaixuan are strong men. Snow Pear Young sent tens of thousands of maize to the families of the anti-Japanese veterans who fought with him, but they didn't keep any money. Also, because of this, Mohist believes that Hubei and Wang Kaixuan are indeed worth making friends with. On this day, while Mohist was chatting nonsense with Hubei, a Shangxi man carrying a pair of embroidered shoes sneakily walked up to Hubei's stall. Li Chunlai. Mohist couldn't help but be pleasantly surprised when she saw the newcomer. You're really here. 004, Li Chunlai, isn't that why you're here? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mohist, after practicing the bloodline divine power, calling the Dragon Sutra, for a period of time, has also learned a lot. After integrating the Dragon Calling Classic, Mohist also understood that in this tomb raiding world, there is a mysterious energy between heaven and earth. Qi is the primitive energy that generates and constitutes all things in heaven and earth, also known as elemental essence, or internal Qi. The primitive energy that existed in chaos before the creation of heaven and earth is called the innate one energy. After the birth of all things in heaven and earth, Qi also disperses into the space between heaven and earth. After the birth of humanity, there is Qi in the body. Qi in the human body naturally dissipates, which is a natural process of aging, illness, and death. The older one gets, the faster it dissipates. To achieve longevity, one must preserve the energy in the human body. And qi is also the foundation of practitioners. In theory, the amount of qi a person can possess is limited. But after advanced cultivation, the amount of energy that can be stored in the meridians will also increase. That is to say, the strength of qi determines the strength of a person. Those antique treasures and mysterious creatures are also showcased in various extraordinary ways due to qi. The Dragon Calling Classic is divided into 4 levels. The Dragon Seeking Hand, the Dragon Suppressing Hand, the Dragon Subduing Hand, and the Dragon Imperial Hand. The difficulty of cultivation can be described as ascending step by step. After successfully cultivating the Dragon Seeker, one can enhance their attack power by using qi. Zhenlong Hand, after successful cultivation, can carry some natural attributes such as wind, fire, lightning to increase damage during attacks. As for the Dragon Subduing Hand and the Imperial Dragon Hand, it is because the energy between heaven and earth in this area gradually dissipates and no longer exists. Panjiayuan Market. Watching Li Chunlai sneakily, Hu Bai had a grudge in his heart. He looked at Moji and asked, "Mo Yi, can we borrow 200 yuan? Take it." Moji didn't ask Hu Bai why he borrowed money, nor did he need to ask too much. Li Chunlai has been wandering in the market for a day or two. It was first discovered by Mo Kinopodium. However, Moji did not directly participate in the game. He was just calculating how the plot could blend seamlessly into it. After such a long time of interaction, coupled with understanding of the original work, Moji knows that Hu Bai is not someone who eats alone. This kind of person, being too close to oneself may not be beautiful. It's best to let nature take its course. If you can't let nature take its course, help him do it himself. Sure enough. Taking the money from Moji, Hu Bai stood still feeling a bit embarrassed. Wang Kaixian stood there, feeling a bit awkward. During this period, it was all thanks to the assistance of the families in quinoa. Now there are big fat sheep on the table, if we don't let the ink quinoa also take a bite. This I can't justify it. Sorry for my conscience. Moyi, what do you think is in this old man's pocket? Moji looked at Li Chunlai, and the inheritance of the Shaking Dragon Classic flashed in his mind. In just a blink of an eye, countless pieces of knowledge formed in his mind. He nodded and spoke calmly. From an upward perspective, this old man has weak ties to his 6 relatives, weak ties to his children, weak ties to his descendants, dark fate in his palace, and a combination of good fortune and misfortune in his life. He has a great calamity in his life, and can withstand the wrath of the Tai Sui. This old man could have lived for 20 years, but he has exhausted his energy when he takes the evil spirit from the tomb. This year's severe drought in Shaanxi is generally believed to be caused by drought. If I'm not mistaken, he took something out of the coffin of his mother and son. Seeing his light footsteps, like rootless duckweed, the thing he took out should be an embroidered shoe. Hiss. Moyi, are you so sure? Is this old man really from Shaanxi? Are he wearing embroidered shoes or just wearing them? Wang Kaixian stood aside, with a pair of big eyes, looking at Moji. You know, this old man has been just looking around for the boss and the boss these days, but he hasn't even said a word. Why is Moji so certain? Moji nodded. At this moment, Li Chunlai was clearly hungry and walked to a Tianjin pancake fruit stall. Boss, give me a pancake, add more scallions, brush more sauce, no eggs. Hu Bai remained silent, gave a glance at Wang Kaixian, and then said. Fatty guy, go try him out. People who are in a hurry to ship things are usually mysterious, afraid of being deceived and robbed. This guy is a typical example, definitely holding back the shipment. Upon hearing that the old man was about to ship, Wang Kaixian walked over directly and decided to first investigate the other party's details. Newcomer, just came to Feilu to write a book. This is my first book in Feilu. Readers are kindly requested to contribute their data greatly. Please send free flowers and evaluation tickets as a gift. These items will be reset automatically by the system after midnight. Even if you throw it away, it's better to give it to my little brother and give him chicken blood to make him crazy. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you. 005, Ironhead Dragon King, Moyi and I, do we want to die for you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't move, police. Li Chunlai originally came to Kyoto secretly. His behavior is considered a blind stream in these days. Upon hearing Wang Kaixuan say, police, Li Chunlai was immediately frightened. I won't move, I won't move. Turn around, where did you come from? It's from Shaanxi, Li Chunlai answered truthfully. Upon hearing that the old man was indeed from Shaanxi, Wang Kaixuan felt a thump in his heart. Boss Missouri has something. What's your name? Li Chunlai. Do you have a letter of introduction? Seeing Li Chunlai stuttering and unable to answer, Hu Bai gave a glance to Moji and the two walked over together. As he walked over, Hu Bai pulled Wang Kaixuan aside and said kindly. Don't scare others. What's so unbelievable? Li Chunlai pretended to be foolish and stunned. These days, it's difficult for ordinary people to move without introduction letters. Not to mention leaving the province, they can't even leave the county town. How could this old man not know such a thing? Brother Chunlai, the three of us are also from this market. Do you have something to sell? Let's find a place to chat. Although Hu Bai had a pleasant expression on his mouth, his eyes were fixed on Li Chunlai's arms. I won't go, I haven't done anything wrong. Li Chunlai was a bit scared. This guy is really bad and cowardly. No, we're not going to catch you. We're going to do business with you. Wang Kaixuan's tone doesn't seem like doing business. It's like a bandit. Police officer. Comrade police officer, I'm not a bad person. I'm not telling you that I'm not a police officer. Let's play with you. Besides, do you have a police officer like us? How embarrassing would that be for the police uncle? Li Chun came to see Hu Bai and then looked at Wang Kaixuan. It makes sense. The words spoken by Wang Kaixuan and Hu Bai are somewhat awkward. What a choking death. He looks like a leader, is he the leader of your police? Li Chunlai carefully examined the ink quinoa and said seriously. Get. Wang Kaixuan wanted to use foul language directly, so Moji returned it to the police. He relied on his handsome appearance, good eloquence, and ability to speak English. Those foreigners who fooled him were momentarily stunned. If calculated according to fraud, Moji would have to go to prison for 90 years. However, at this moment, Moji spoke again and said, Brother Chunlai, I have already noticed that you have something going out. There are many people here with mixed eyes. Let's chat in a different place, eat hot pot lamb and chat at the same time. A can of boiled lamb. Wang Kaixuan was already drooling and patted Li Chunlai's shoulder, saying. Boiled lamb. Okay. Li Chunlai agreed on the spot. A few people arrived at the restaurant, and Hu Bai and Wang Pengzi both asked Li Chun to come and eat lamb. As a result, Li Chunlai ran out of soup and a piece of lamb in a pot. Just as he found a piece of meat, Hu Bai wanted to drink with Li Chun. Li Chunlai could only put the meat into the pot, and in the blink of an eye, Moji and Wang Kaixuan ate it. Brother Chunlai, right. I see you've been wandering in this market for more than a day or two. Is there anything you want to sell? Let's see. The three of us brothers, in Panjiayuan, are first-class real people. Boss Missouri's scholarly family, Ihu Piaui is a veteran. Wang Kaixuan, who was in their unit, was also rated as a model worker every year. Don't listen to his nonsense. His mother is the red flag bearer. I am a youth commando. I am ashamed that the party and the people have trained well. Wang Kaixian quickly added upon hearing this. Ah. Yes, yes. His mother often takes the 38 red flag bearer. He is a youth commando. Moji didn't even look. Hu Bai and Wang Kaixian are really old sows wearing bras, one set after another. Not as pure and flawless as oneself. Unable to withstand Hu Bai's deception in the end, Li Chun came and took out the embroidered shoe. When the embroidered shoes came out, Wang Kaixian was foolish. Eyes staring like copper bells. Looking at Moji in shock. This prophecy, this is a divine means. Hu Bai also swallowed his saliva excitedly. As the saying goes, he is an expert in the field. His inner shock was even greater than Wang Kaishuan's. Boss. Add a plate of meat. Li Chunlai finally ate the meat. Then Li Chun came to tell the story of the local drought and the fight against drought. I almost didn't give old Huzhen a tip. The lamb in my hand fell into the pot and was taken out by Moji. Wang Kaishuan's head felt like it was about to explode. After some twists and turns, the three of them brought Li Chun to find Dejinya. After some twists and turns, several people accepted Li Chunlai's embroidered shoes for a price of 200 yuan. But there is a prerequisite, which is to let Li Chun come and take them to Shangxi to collect antiques. Along the way, a few people changed buses and minibuses. Dejinya, Moji, and Hu Bai had a great time chatting with each other. The three of them have a cultural background and knowledge. When talking about ancient, modern, domestic, and foreign cultures, they come from all over the world without stopping. This is frustrating for Wang Kaixian. I can't even get in my mouth. He said that when it comes to the gate tower of Liaocheng, it's completely different. However, just as the minibus was moving, a loud tire explosion echoed in everyone's ears. Dejinya asked in confusion, "Hey, how did you drive this car?" Wang Kaixian, on the other hand, was not happy. "What are you talking about? You guys are talking about a car blowout. It's broken now and the cylinder has burst again. I'm sorry everyone, the car is broken and can't leave. Front row driver, there is a confirmed message coming." The whole group got off the car and decided to take the waterway to Gulan County. This is what Moji is very happy to see. Because Iron-Headed Dragon King is a rare species, lighting it up will definitely reward you. 006, this is also different from TV dramas. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As I walked along, everyone except Kinopodium Nigram regretted that the bank of the Yellow River in Shangxi was too damn desolate. On the road, there was no one left, not even a rabbit. It's too late to regret the current situation. The group can only go to the river to find a boat to cross the river. There were still hundreds of meters away from the Yellow River, and everyone could hear the sound of the Yellow River water like thunder. As they approached, everyone was shocked. Previously on the bus, I only heard people say that there will be heavy rain this year, but I didn't expect this section of the river to be so wide and turbulent. Take a closer look, the Yellow River water is surging like a strong wind, with rolling waves. With lightning scales, it swept forward, flipping through the snow waves and crashing into the sky. Bang! 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 The sound of the waves kept going. This situation, I don't know if there was a ferry before. Even if there were, it should have been submerged now. Moji led the crowd to choose a place with an extremely wide field of vision to observe this rare sight on weekdays. However, at this moment, a cloud rolled over the originally clear sky, followed by countless long drizzle. The group was dressed thinly, and Moji had a golden dragon bloodline, which had already been activated by 10%. Faced with this situation, it naturally didn't matter. Hu Bai, on the other hand, served as a soldier and did not neglect his regular training. Wang Kaixian himself is quite practical, so naturally it doesn't matter. It's just De Jin Fang, who has been weak since childhood and is now shivering a bit from the cold. Wang Kaixian saw this and took out a bottle of sweet potato sauce from his shoulder bag. He quickly asked De Jinya to take a few sips to dispel the cold and prevent any problems from freezing. Just drinking alcohol alone is definitely not enough. Then Hu Bai took out the yak jerky he bought at the ethnic store and ate it. A few people were drinking sweet potato stew, eating yak jerky, and then eating while cursing the long-distance bus driver for being unethical. Wang Kaixian took a mouthful of yak jerky and said viciously, "The driver is so bad. He must think our brothers are too noisy. They cheated us out before we got there. How the hell can a boat cross the river?" Actually, it's not Wang Kaishuan's fault for this matter. Because along the way, it was Moji, Hu Bai, and De Jinya chatting. Wang Kaixian he has no education, so he can't get in touch with Ben. However, he voluntarily picked up this curse and no one cared. Hu Bai looked at the rushing river under his feet and couldn't help but feel worried. He sighed and said, "When I was serving in the Lanzhou military region, I saw the villagers there crossing the river with sheepskin rafts." At this point, Hu Bai glanced around again and continued, "But there isn't even a shepherd around here, let alone a sheepskin raft." Everyone had no choice but to wait slowly in the rain. This is also different from TV dramas. Moji looked up at the sky. In the TV drama, everyone came here and waited for a while, but it didn't rain. There is no such cold wind. Kinopodium nigrum also picked up sweet potato and drank 2 mouthfuls of baijiu, and the chill was slightly relieved. As time passed, the sky gradually darkened. The world is gloomy and boundless, with fine rain flying around and countless crooked threads blown by the wind. Ah! Ah! Ah mu, i.e. what? After crossing into this world, Moji's tense nerves never relaxed for a minute. In the cold wind and rain, Moji couldn't help but howl up to the sky. Moji actually didn't know what she was shouting, but she just felt relieved when she shouted it out. After he shouted happily. Turning around, he looked at Hu Bai, who was standing tall like an ice sculpture in the wind and rain, knowing that he must have missed his former comrades when he saw this scene. Served as a soldier. Having witnessed countless armies and horses. The water of the Yellow River is like 1,000 armies and horses, and the river is becoming increasingly turbulent and surging. Hu Bai, looking at the rolling waves and the crackling sound of water on his body, felt suppressed and agitated in his heart. After hearing Moji's voice, I couldn't help but shout loudly at the Yellow River. ABA. Mu, all. I.e. what? Wang Kaixian and De Jinya also followed suit, shouting loudly at the top of their throats. After shouting, everyone felt amused. The boredom caused by the drizzle decreased significantly, and in no time, a few people drank 2 bottles of burnt knives. Without knowing where to start, one goes deeper. Wang Kaixian was visibly moved and, using his strength to drink, said, "Old Hu, we are now on the Yellow River. Do we have to sing 2 sour songs about sinew?" Hu Bai deliberately used a Shaanxi accent to look at Wang Kaixian and said, "You are a fat boy who knows a lot. You are very naive. If you don't herd sheep, you sing sour songs. Listen to me roar Qin opera for you." Wang Kaixian finally caught Hu Bai's handle and quickly ridiculed him. "Lao Hu, you know something. You are singing Qin opera here. Haven't you ever heard of drinking a bucket of Yellow River water and singing a song of Xint on you? You must sing a song whenever you reach a mountain." Hu Bai saw that Wang Kaixian was going to rebel, so he angrily cursed, "Where did you save up so many bad words? What drinks Yellow River water? How dare you drink just these rolling waves? If I don't understand anything else about riding horses, I know that I only drink Changsha tap water and eat the young woman Wuchang fish. De Jinya looked at these two people and realized that they were going to get started. He quickly persuaded them, sing a song for each person, and whoever wants to sing anything can do it. Anyway, there's no one in this place, so it's not considered a disturbance to the people. At this moment, Wang Kaixian was infected by this emotion. He had never served in the army in his lifetime, and as he watched the surging waves of the Yellow River with countless troops and horses, he said, "Let me sing a few lines first. Tears, eggs, and sand nest. You guys, listen to me. If you feel comfortable listening, I'll give you a good time." Hu Bai asked somewhat strangely, "You didn't drink too much, did you?" Wang Kaixian didn't care at all, whether anyone listened to his distress. A person was squatting halfway, holding an empty wine bottle as a microphone to his mouth. Just as he was about to open his neck and shout a song, he heard the sound of a motor in the distance, and a small boat came from upstream. 007, Intense Impact. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Moj and Hu Bai quickly stood up and waved their arms by the river, calling for the captain of the boat to dock and stop. The captain of the ship heard the shouting, but shook his hands repeatedly, indicating that the water was deep and the waves were strong, making it impossible to stop the ship. How could this group of people spare no effort in hoping for a boat? Otherwise, I don't know how long to wait in this cold rain. Boatman, we need to cross the river. Hu Bai, Wang Kaixian, and others immediately shouted at the top of their throats. The boatman did hear it, but waved his hand repeatedly and shouted, "The water is too big to pass." Just as a few people were in the area, suddenly I heard a loud shout from behind. Two pieces of great unity. The boatman saw the waving banknotes and quickly shouted happily, "Come on! Come on! Come on!" Everyone turned around and realized that it was Moj waving money. 20 yuan is enough to get things done, why shout? De Jin Fang extended his thumb towards Moj. There is a bend in the river ahead, with a gentle water flow. The wind is still and the waves are calm. The boatman sways and comes to a stop. Everyone got on the boat and asked why there were no boats nearby, only to find out that this ship was going downstream to repair a large ship. The water was heavy recently, and if it weren't for an emergency situation, they wouldn't have taken the risk to come out. Apart from some maintenance equipment, there is nothing else on the ship besides the ship's boss and his son, a teenage boy. Because there was no place to rest, 4 people including Moj and Hu Bai had to sit on the deck. However, I finally found a boat and found a hotel after crossing the river. I took a comfortable hot bath, ate a bowl of warm buckwheat noodles, and rested well. I squatted by the river for 2 hours just now, but it was really freezing. The river flowed for thousands of miles, running non-stop and flying straight down, quickly flying far away, just as everyone was fantasizing about a better life. Boom! Bang! Bang! Boom boom! Suddenly, waves of vibration came from the bottom of the ship, accompanied by thunderous sounds, as if it had hit something huge in the river. Hu Bai is discussing with Wang Kaixian whether to eat bandao noodles or wonton in Xulan County. This shock almost bit off the tongue of Hu Bai and Wang Kaixian. At this moment, under the sky, there was no longer a slanting wind or drizzle. Under the broad sky, waves of turbulent black clouds rolled and thundered, and the heavy rain poured down like a pouring rain. The captain quickly went to check the bow of the ship to see what had hit. The Yellow River is surging, and now the water level is unusually high, so it should be said that it will not touch the rocks. However, now it is flowing downstream and unexpectedly collides with such a huge object, which is truly abnormal. The boatman walked up to the ship, leaned forward, and fell directly. Everyone looked at him and quickly rescued him with all their hands and feet. This ship has reached the center of the river. Is it okay without the ship owner? The boatman choked on a lot of yellowing river water, and now he vomited it all out, as if yellow fecal juice, which was indescribably nauseous and nauseating. After the boatman vomited, he shrank into a ball and hid in a corner without moving. He is sailing and is scared like this. What should the ship do? Mohist had a clear idea, and the boatman's face was full of fear, indicating that he had seen something in the river. Hu Bai didn't know and quickly asked, "Big brother, what's wrong with you? Is there something in the river?" The boatman, who was so scared that he couldn't control himself, pointed out to the outside of the ship and trembled in fear. "The river god is angry and wants to take this boat. The captain of the ship is like this, and the Jinya is not much better. This guy is seasick and has long vomited, his face turning pale. He can't move while holding the cable on the ship." The ship seemed to be blocked by something in the river, and although the river was turbulent, the ship could not leave. Under the repeated erosion of high winds and waves, the ship is stuck here, motionless. If it continues like this, the ship may capsize at any time. We need to go to the bow of the ship to see what is really in the river. With a wave of his hand, Mohist led Hu Bai and Wang Kaixian forward. At this moment, the two of them were already drunk and couldn't feel scared, just like stepping on a cotton jacket under their feet. Coupled with the tilting of the ship's hull, they took a long walk but didn't step out. However, at this moment, the water suddenly accelerated, as if surfing, hitting the hull horizontally. Wang Kaixian was thrown across the deck, his body propped up on the side of the ship. This startled half of Wang Kaixian's drunkenness, and as he turned his head to look into the river, the hull shook again, throwing him back. Fortunately, everyone is riding on a mechanical boat. If it were a wooden boat, with these few impacts, it would definitely fall apart. Mohist dodged and tightly grabbed the cable and big golden teeth, tying him to the railing. Hu Bai, amidst his busy schedule, also asked Wang Kaixian what was in the river and if he had seen it clearly. 008, Mohist Ghost Coffin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom. Another thunderous roar suddenly sounded. A thunderbolt is like a long dragon, piercing through the sky. With the light of lightning in the dark clouds, Mohist vaguely saw the giant creatures in the turbid yellow river. That thing is mostly hidden in the river, like a small mountain, but only its head is exposed to the water. And the head exposed to the water is like a truck. Upon seeing such a scene, the Jinya's face turned pale with fear and he tied himself to the boat. Hu Bai's reaction was extremely fast. In an instant, he picked up his engineering shovel and jumped down. With the help of inertia and gravity, he fiercely hit the head of Black Shadow. However, all he could hear was a clang sound, and even the shovel bounced back unsteadily, almost rushing into the river and never returning. Upon seeing this, Hu Bai's face suddenly changed. It was clear that the engineering shovel in his hand was a serious German product. With such a shovel of gravity, even a towering tree would have to be uprooted. What exactly is this underwater thing? Hu Bai returned to the ship, gripping the engineering shovel tightly and staring nervously at the water surface. At this moment, Wang Kaixian also leaned over and said, "Whatever it is, just kill it." As he spoke, he turned around and shoveled a tiger, creating a lively atmosphere. Hu Bai shouted, "Take care of Mr. Mo and Mr. Jean first." Before he could finish speaking, he realized that there was no figure of Mohist by his side. "It's broken, where's Mr. Mo? Fatty guy, have you seen Mr. Mo?" Wang Kaixian quickly shook his head and said, "I didn't see it." "Did Mr. Mo fall into the water?" The whole ship was like a flat boat, with the boatman constantly kowtowing at the bow, without even considering sailing. Coupled with the strong winds and waves, the ship's hull was unstable, so De Jinya was clever and used a cable to tie himself up first. "Mr. Mo, it seems like he went to the back just now." De Jinya regained some consciousness and quickly said. Hu Bai quickly shouted at the back of the cabin, "Boss Missouri. Are you in the back, Boss Missouri?" As soon as he shouted, Wang Kaixian pointed to the cockpit and said, "Boss Missouri, what are you doing climbing up there? You're not killing yourself anymore." Hu Bai followed Wang Kaishuan's fingers and immediately turned pale with fear. Originally, at this moment, Mohist was standing on the dome of the cockpit, with a rope tied to her waist and a steel pipe tightly held in her hand, with several inserted into her waist. A lightning bolt pierced through the dark clouds and fell from the 9 heavens, making Mohist look like a god of war descending to earth. He only heard him roar out loud. "Boss of the boat, stop kowtowing. Hurry up and stabilize the boat. Your son is also on the boat. If the boat capsizes, your son won't be able to survive either. Running on a boat and horse is already extremely superstitious. At this moment, the captain of the boat has been whispering that the thing in the river is Grandpa River God. I was already prepared, closed my eyes and waited to die. After listening to Mohist's voice, I woke up like a dream." The words, "son," instantly filled the once desperate captain with fighting spirit all over his body. Immediately after rushing into the cockpit, the hull finally stabilized. Thunder rumbled. Thunder continued to accumulate strength, thunder. In an instant, a thunderbolt as thick as a water tank fell, as if it had hit something. Under the lightning and thunder, everyone witnessed with their own eyes that a row of black objects had floated up in the yellow river, suspended on the river. The object presented a rectangular shape, resembling rows of long boxes, faintly visible, as the yellow river water kept rolling. Moment a thrilling sensation of scalp tingling struck, and Mohist could see clearly above the cockpit sky. Those are actually coffins. The Yellow River Ghost Coffin. Hu Bai was completely stunned, trembling as he uttered these words. However, just as these words fell, rows of painted black coffins appeared. Surprisingly, it quickly disappeared as if it had never appeared before. "Mr. Mo, Mr. Hu, you. Look at that. What is that?" Jing Dajin's teeth were filled with tears, trembling as he pointed and passed it down, causing everyone to shiver. Under the flashes of lightning and thunder. In the Yellow River, which is not more than 10 meters away from everyone, a person rolls up and down with the Yellow River water. Even if it's not a human, it's still a corpse. The thunder fell down one by one, and the strong wind rolled the rainstorm like countless whips, which were mercilessly whipped at people. The body looked very strange under all the lightning. In an instant, the entire scene fell silent. "Captain, why are you so evil in this place?" Wang Kaishuan gulped down his saliva and his words fell. Mohist and Hu Bai, holding flashlights, almost simultaneously shone at the corpse. This photo doesn't matter, both of them suddenly shook and stopped in their tracks. Under the shining flashlight, they could see clearly what was in the Yellow River water. In the turbulent river water, it was clearly a corpse. The dried corpse was already highly decayed, wrapped in tattered clothing, with deep sunken eyes and faces. As the river continued to churn, it stood upright in the water, with its lower body submerged in the river and its upper body tumbling in the Yellow River. Ancient corpses. De Jinya looked at this scene and was suddenly startled, his soul flying away. Ah! This Mo family ghost coffin. The boatman controlled the boat and just walked out. Seeing this scene, he knelt down with a thud at the ancient corpse and said, "Grandpa River God, calm down, Grandpa River God, calm down." We also passed by. Hu Bai looked at Mohist and said, "Boss Missouri, have you seen those coffins that were floating just now?" "Captain, what do you mean by the Mo family ghost coffin you just mentioned?" Mohist didn't bother to talk to Hu Bai, and his heart tightened. He quickly asked, "Can you explain it in detail?" He thinks that this Mohist ghost coffin may be related to his own background. 009, those coffins are here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The boatman opened his mouth and looked up for a moment. The Mo family has been suppressing all evil forces in the world for thousands of years. What Mohist school? Mohist's heart almost jumped to her throat. The boatman looked at Mohist's bewildered expression, sighed heavily, and crouched on the ground, covering his face. This river god grandpa is said to be the immortal who once dragged Tang Sanzang across the Heishui River. That old turtle. What does it have to do with the Mohist school? At this moment, the captain of the ship is already in a daze, incoherent in his speech, unable to get to the main point even when talking about something. Hu Bai and others were shocked and they heard it. Those ghost coffins and ancient corpses are definitely related to the so-called Mohist school. As for the mythological legend of the Heishui River, Hu Bai and others such as Tang Sanzang were not accepted. Oh! How dare you talk nonsense! How dare you talk nonsense! Upon hearing this, the boatman Mo Qingguan called the river god Grandpa Lao Gui and quickly waved his hand, saying, "That's the river god Grandpa." Captain, what is the relationship between Grandpa River God and the Mo family? What does the Mohist school mean to suppress all evil forces for thousands of years? Is it difficult for this river god Grandpa to be the mount of the Mo family? Otherwise, how could he listen so much to the Mo family and drag Tang Sanzang on a trip? De Jinya's eyes were spinning stealthily, constantly probing the boatman. Yes. Yes. Mount, the Yellow River is under the management of the Mo family. Amidst the lightning and thunder, the boatman's eyes stared blankly at the turbulent Yellow River, as if someone had taken his soul away. Hu Bai patted De Jinya and gestured for him to shut up. After all, he had to rely on others to cross the Yellow River this time. Mo Ji found some simple tools from the cabin and made a temporary flying tiger claw. Whoosh! As the flying tiger claws shone out, the ancient corpse was quickly pulled up. This time, everyone has thoroughly examined it. That was a dry corpse wrapped in a tattered shroud, with no flesh left all over, only a black skull frame. From top to bottom, there was almost no white spot to be found. Compared to these, what Mo Ji is more interested in is the ancient tomb where this corpse was buried. Wang Kaixian frowned and said, "This corpse doesn't seem modern, not even modern." Hu Bai squatted down and looked carefully before saying, "Look at these clothes, they look like they were from the Western Han dynasty." Mo Ji raised her head and looked around, then spoke up. "Under the Yellow River, there are channels connecting all 8 sides. Will there be any ancient tombs here? What Boss Missouri means? Is this corpse coming out of a nearby tomb?" Hu Bai was taken aback for a moment, and quickly lifted his head to look into the distance through the thunderous flashes of lightning. However, with dense dark clouds, nothing can be seen clearly. Moji stood on the boat, pondering for a moment, and said, "Above is Gulan County. We are going upstream now, and there are many strange things happening. Those coffins just now, combined with this corpse from the Western Han dynasty, our trip to Gulan County may not be very smooth this time." "Ha ha ha, Mr. Mo, don't worry about that, after all, we are all contemporary materialist youth." Hu Bai grinned and said. Despite constantly beating drums in his heart, Hu Bai's psychological quality is indeed impressive. "I have served as a soldier, fought in battle, and served as a company commander, fearlessly facing danger." Hu Bai looked into the distance and continued, "It's just some dead people's coffins. Don't worry, besides, there's no trace now." At this moment, Mo Ji remained silent. At the end of the day, he was attracted by the story just spoken by the boatman. Old Turtle. Mohist School. Mount. Suppress all evil forces for thousands of years. Unfortunately, the captain of the ship was clearly frightened, with incoherent speech and only mechanically manipulating the ship. "Coffin. Coffin, come out. Come out again." De Jinya trembled as he pointed towards the distance, and everyone saw it. Just above the water flow, rushing down from Gulan County, more than 10 pitch-black coffins appeared in all directions, like a flat boat, swept down by the waves of the Yellow River. "I'm lying down. These are coffins, all. They're all aimed at us." Wang Kaixian was suddenly startled and said, "Old Hu, what should we do now? How did this coffin come out again? What are you panicking about? Although Hu Bai remained calm in the face of major events, now everyone is on the Yellow River and cannot help but make their own decisions. Furthermore, let's talk about it. Even though it was his first time seeing such a strange thing as a ghost coffin, I couldn't make up my mind for a moment. Finally, Hu Bai took a deep breath and looked at Mo. What does Mr. Mo think? In the past few months of dating, he is also aware that Mo also knows feng shui. So I want to ask about Mo's idea. Mo pointed to the towering mountains on the banks of the Yellow River, and then pointed to the Yellow River. Slowly speaking, Lao Hu, look at feng shui. As the saying goes, dragons are geographical veins, with soil being the flesh of dragons, stones being the bones of dragons, and grass and trees being the hair of dragons. You're looking at this. The mountains have no boundaries, and the water and gas cannot stop. At the intersection, the true Qi gathers, and the movement and stillness of the covering edge are mutually rooted. There is both yang and yin in yin. The mountains are undulating and winding, with thick soil and abundant water. Those with dense vegetation are the living dragons. Under the Yellow River, there must be a big tomb. On the vast Yellow River, the Yue Qiluo slowly closes its eyes. From his embrace, he took out an antique compass and felt the wind in all directions. He silently recited, and the magnetic needle in the inner disk spun rapidly. Old Hu. So. Those coffins are here. On the turbulent Yellow River, a large row of black coffins were rushed down at an astonishing speed. 010, hold the coffin and move the pulse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Coming. Something's coming. De Jin Feng suddenly bared his teeth and let out a mournful cry, his whole body numb. Jin Yi, don't mourn anymore. Who can't see that thing? Wang Kaixian quickly comforted De Jinya. Then he turned to Hu Bai and said, Old Hu, how can we move now? If that thing rolls off, this ship will be finished. Mr. Mo, Mr. Hu, I'm not talking about coffins. At this moment, De Jinya's whole body had already been drenched in the rain, and he hid behind Mo, trembling as he spoke. Mr. Mo, please take a look at the Yellow River water. It seems like it's being lifted by something. Can the Yellow River water be dragged up? When De Jinya said this, the group followed the sound and found that there was a slight protrusion on the water surface in front of a group of black coffins. Boss Missouri, you're right. There must be a coffin underwater. Don't even talk. Wang Kaixian originally wanted to say something, but was directly rebuked by Hu Bai. Hu Bai asked Mo, Boss Missouri, what exactly is this game? However, in the wind and rain, the Yue Qiluo remained motionless, holding a compass and calmly speaking. Dragon, cave, sand, water, Xiang. As these words fell, Mo suddenly opened her eyes and looked at the rolling black coffins. Water is the bloodline of the dragon. The qi outside the acupoint is not sent by water, so the dragon cannot understand its origin. The acupoint is not in the water realm, so there is no way to stop it. How many? What do you mean by that? Wang Kaixian was completely bewildered, and De Jinya didn't quite understand. He grinned dryly and said, I said Mr. Mo, what are you talking about? What Boss Missouri means is that something stirred up the underwater dragon veins of the Yellow River, which triggered the flood. Hu Bai is proficient in the 16-character yin-yang feng shui secret technique. Although it is a fragment, it is also very powerful. Boss Mo's point is, if we want to take the waterway, we must break through the evil situation in front of us. How can this break? De Jinya's whole face was shocked. Although their ship was large, it was just a flat boat on the Yellow River. What methods can be used for this? 2 paths. First, hold the coffin and move the pulse. What about 2? Wang Kaixuan did not hesitate at all and directly asked for the second path. Kill this thing that stirs the dragon's veins. It can also break this game. Before he could finish speaking, he saw a large number of black coffins rushing towards him upstream. Go into the water. Mohist leaped straight into the rolling yellow river. Oh my goodness. De Jinya and Wang Kaixuan were all confused and looked at Hu Bai together. Old Hu. This. Fatty guy, this is a rare opportunity. I'll go learn skills from Mr. Mo. Since Mo sees things so thoroughly. If you can still be so decisive, then you must have true abilities. Upon reaching this point, Hu Bai's heart froze as he learned from Mo just now, holding an engineering shovel and jumping directly into the water. Damn it, Lao Hu, and me. Wang Kaixuan didn't have time to think at all. He watched Hu Bai picked up the engineering shovel, and immediately jumped down with it. At this moment, De Jinya, who was on the ship, was completely dumbfounded. Let him jump. Even if we kill him, we can't do it. Upon reaching this point, De Jinya shouted to the three of them, Mr. Mo, Mr. Hu, Mr. Pang, you. Cheer up. I'm on the boat. To keep you safe. God, be careful. After speaking, De Jinya had completely lost any momentum, he was really cowardly. At this moment, those painted black coffins have already arrived with the surging waves. Until such a close distance, De Jinya finally realized that these black coffins were all stone coffins, and the coffins were pitch black, hitting the repair ship with a loud bang. This is a stone coffin. How could this stone coffin possibly float on the yellow river water? This is not that physics no longer exists. There is something in the water, supporting these coffins swimming. Physics cannot exist anymore. This ship is still floating on the yellow river. Then there can only be something below, pulling these coffins and advancing rapidly. At this moment of thought, a chilling sensation struck, and Big Golden Fong let out a plop. He collapsed on the deck in an instant. What kind of thing could it be, dragging so many stone coffins? However, at this moment, the painted black coffins suddenly stopped and disappeared into deep water. What's going on here? However, less than a few breaths followed. De Jinya saw an unforgettable scene in his life, a huge black monster suddenly rising from the yellow river water. That figure covered the sky and sun, instantly blocking the only light of the repair ship. Upon closer inspection, the figure was over 30 meters long, flipped over, let out a mournful roar, and then fell into the water.